The Time Traveler's Daughter by Amey Jaguste. Chapter 1. A Leap in Time. James had always been fascinated by the mysteries of time. As a child, he spent hours poring over books on history and science, imagining what it would be like to witness some of the great events of the past. As he grew older, he became more and more obsessed with the idea of time travel, and he spent countless hours in his lab trying to make it a reality. Finally, after years of hard work and experimentation, James had a breakthrough. He had developed a machine that could transport him through time. With a sense of excitement and trepidation, he climbed into the machine and set the dials for his first trip. As the machine whirred and hummed, James felt a sudden jolt, and then nothing. For what seemed like an eternity, there was only darkness and silence. Then, suddenly, he was there. He found himself standing in the middle of a bustling street, surrounded by people dressed in strange, outdated clothing. A horse-drawn carriage clattered by, and James realized that he had traveled back to the 19th century. Overwhelmed with excitement and awe, James began to explore the city. He visited shops, talked to locals, and marveled at the sights and sounds of this bygone era. As he wandered through the streets, he couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and amazement at the possibilities that lay before him. But he knew that he couldn't stay in the past forever. Eventually, he had to return to the present. With a sense of reluctance, he climbed back into his time machine and set the dials for home. As the machine hummed to life, James wondered what other mysteries of time lay ahead. He was eager to explore more of the past and the future, and to see what wonders lay in store for him. With a sense of excitement and anticipation, he leaned back and closed his eyes, ready for whatever adventure lay ahead. Chapter 2. A Love Across Time. As James continued to travel through time, he found himself more and more drawn to the past. He loved the sense of adventure and discovery, and the feeling of being able to witness history unfolding before his eyes. But one day, as he was exploring the 18th century, he met a woman named Rachel. She was a young artist with fiery red hair and a sharp wit. James was immediately smitten. They began to spend more and more time together, wandering through the streets of old London and discussing the mysteries of the universe. Rachel was fascinated by James's stories of time travel, and James found himself increasingly captivated by her charm and intelligence. As they spent more time together, their feelings for each other grew stronger. James realized that he had never felt this way before, and he knew that he had to tell Rachel how he felt. One day, as they sat on a bench in Hyde Park, James took Rachel's hand and told her how much he cared for her. Rachel was surprised, but also thrilled. She felt the same way, and she knew that she and James were meant to be together. From that day on, James and Rachel were inseparable. They traveled through time together, exploring different eras and discovering new wonders. They shared their dreams and their fears, and they knew that they had found something truly special. But as much as they loved each other, James knew that their relationship was not without its challenges. He was from a different era, and his work as a time traveler often kept him away from Rachel for long periods of time. And Rachel knew that she could never truly understand James's experiences in the future. But despite these challenges, James and Rachel remained committed to each other. They knew that their love was worth fighting for, and that the mysteries of time were nothing compared to the mysteries of the human heart. Chapter 3. The Birth of a Daughter. As James and Rachel continued their travels through time, they knew that their love was something special. They had shared so many incredible experiences together, and they had grown closer with each passing day. But one day, as they were exploring the 21st century, Rachel began to feel strange. She was tired all the time, and her appetite had changed. James was worried, but he didn't know what to do. They visited a doctor in the present day, and the doctor confirmed what they had both suspected. Rachel was pregnant. James was overjoyed. He had always wanted to start a family, and he knew that Rachel would be an amazing mother. But he also knew that the realities of time travel would make things more complicated. As Rachel's pregnancy progressed, James realized that he would have to be even more careful with their travels. He didn't want to risk anything happening to Rachel or the baby, so they limited their trips to safer eras, and James made sure to keep a close eye on Rachel's health. Despite the challenges, Rachel's pregnancy was a beautiful experience. She glowed with a sense of joy and wonder, and James felt like the luckiest man in the world. Finally, the day arrived when Rachel went into labor. James was by her side, holding her hand and encouraging her every step of the way. And when their daughter was born, they both knew that their lives would never be the same. Their daughter was beautiful and healthy, with bright eyes and a head of curly red hair. They named her Lily, after Rachel's favorite flower. As they held their daughter for the first time, James and Rachel knew that they had created something truly special. Their love had brought a new life into the world, and they knew that their family was something to be cherished. And even though the challenges of time travel would always be there, James and Rachel knew that they could face anything together, with Lily by their side. Chapter 4. A Father's Absence. As Lily grew up, James and Rachel knew that their family was something special. They continued to travel through time, exploring new eras and discovering new wonders, and Lily was always by their side. But despite the joys of their family life, James knew that he was missing out on some of the most important moments of Lily's life. His work as a time traveler often took him away from home for weeks or even months at a time, and he couldn't always be there for Lily's birthdays, her first day of school, or other important events. It was especially hard for James when he knew that he would be missing out on something big, like Lily's first steps or her first words. He tried to make up for it by recording messages and sending gifts from different eras, but he knew that it wasn't the same as being there in person. As Lily grew older, she began to understand that her father's work was something special. She loved hearing his stories of adventure and discovery, and she was fascinated by the mysteries of time travel. But she also missed him when he was gone. She would write him letters and send him pictures of her artwork, hoping that he would be proud of her even though he couldn't be there in person. James knew that his absence was hard on Lily, and it was hard on him too. He wished that he could be there for her more, to watch her grow and to be a part of her life in a more meaningful way. But despite the challenges, James knew that his work was important. He was a time traveler, and he had a duty to explore the mysteries of the universe and to help humanity understand the secrets of time. So he continued to travel through time, even as he missed his family. And he knew that even though he couldn't always be there in person, his love for Lily and Rachel was always with him, no matter where or when he went. Chapter 5. A Daughter's Discovery. Lily had always known that her parents were different. They traveled through time, exploring new eras and discovering wonders that most people could only dream of. It was a source of pride for her, but it was also a source of curiosity. As she grew older, Lily became more and more interested in her parents' work. She wanted to know how they did it, and what kind of secrets they were uncovering in their travels. One day, as she was exploring her parents' workshop, she stumbled upon something that she had never seen before. It was a small device with a screen and a few buttons, and Lily knew immediately that it was something important. She turned it on, and to her surprise, she found herself looking at a map of time. It showed different eras, with little dots that represented her parents' travels. Lily was amazed. She had never seen anything like it before. As she explored the device further, she realized that she could use it to travel through time herself. She could select an era, press a button, and be transported instantly to that time and place. Lily knew that her parents would be furious if they found out that she had been playing with the time travel device, but she couldn't resist the temptation to explore the mysteries of time on her own. So one day, when her parents were away on a trip, she selected an era at random and pressed the button, and in an instant, she found herself transported to ancient Egypt. Lily was amazed. She had never seen anything like it before. She explored the pyramids and the temples, marveling at the sights and sounds of this ancient civilization. But as she was exploring, she realized that she had made a mistake. She had forgotten to set the device to return her to the present day. Lily was stranded in ancient Egypt, with no way to get back home. She was scared and alone, and she didn't know what to do. But then she remembered something her parents had taught her: never give up. With that in mind, she set out to find a way back home, using her wits and her courage to navigate the mysteries of time. Eventually, Lily found a way to return to the present day, and she was relieved to be back home with her parents. But the experience had changed her. She had discovered the power of time travel for herself, and she knew that she had a destiny to fulfill in the world of time. Chapter 6. A Father's Regret. After Lily's unexpected trip to ancient Egypt, James couldn't help but feel a sense of guilt and regret. He knew that his daughter's curiosity had been sparked by his own work as a time traveler, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he had put her in danger. He tried to push these thoughts out of his mind, and he continued to work on his research and exploration of time. But every time he looked at Lily, he couldn't help but see the fear and uncertainty in her eyes. As the weeks went by, James tried to make up for his absence by spending more time with Lily. They went on long walks, read books together, and explored their hometown in new ways. But despite his efforts, James couldn't shake the feeling that he had let his daughter down. He had always believed that his work was important, that he was exploring the mysteries of the universe and unlocking secrets that would benefit humanity for generations to come. But now he saw that there was a price to pay for his ambition. He had put his family in danger, and he had neglected his duty as a father to be there for his daughter. As he lay awake at night, James couldn't help but wonder if he had made the right choice by becoming a time traveler. He thought about all the moments he had missed in Lily's life, and all the times when she had needed him and he wasn't there. Eventually, James came to a realization. He had been so focused on the mysteries of time that he had lost sight of what was truly important: his family. He made a vow to himself that he would never again put his work ahead of his family. He would be there for Lily no matter what, and he would make sure that she knew how much she was loved. In the weeks and months that followed, James kept his promise. He spent more time with Lily than ever before, and he made sure that she knew how important she was to him. And slowly but surely, the guilt and regret that had been weighing on James began to lift. He realized that he couldn't change the past, but he could make a better future for himself and his family by putting them first. Chapter 7. A Daughter's Struggle. As Lily grew older, she found herself struggling to reconcile her love for her father with the fear and anxiety she felt about his work as a time traveler. She admired his passion and dedication to uncovering the mysteries of time, but she couldn't shake the memory of the danger she had faced when she accidentally traveled to ancient Egypt. Lily tried to talk to her father about her fears, but every time she brought up the subject, James became defensive and dismissive. He didn't want to admit that his work was putting his family in danger, and he didn't want to give up his dream of exploring time. As the years went by, Lily became increasingly frustrated with her father's refusal to listen to her. She felt like she was fighting a losing battle, and that she would never be able to convince him to change his ways. One day, Lily had had enough. She decided that she needed to take matters into her own hands and find a way to make her father understand the impact his work was having on their family. She began to research the dangers of time travel, and she compiled a list of all the close calls her family had experienced over the years. She presented her findings to her father, hoping that he would finally see reason. But to her surprise, James was unmoved. He saw the evidence that Lily had presented, but he still couldn't let go of his dream of exploring time. Lily was heartbroken. She couldn't understand why her father was so unwilling to see the truth. She felt like she was losing him, little by little, as he continued to put his work ahead of their family. But then, something unexpected happened. James was called away on a mission, and he was gone for longer than usual. During that time, Lily realized how much she missed him, and how much she still loved him, despite their disagreements. When James returned, Lily decided to try one more time to reach him. She sat him down and spoke from her heart, telling him how much she loved him and how scared she was for his safety. To her surprise, James listened. He saw the pain and fear in his daughter's eyes, and he finally understood the impact his work was having on their family. From that day forward, James made a promise to put his family first. He continued to explore the mysteries of time, but he did so with a new sense of responsibility and caution. And Lily knew that no matter what, her father would always be there for her. Chapter 8. The Power of Love. As time went on, Lily and James grew closer than ever before. They talked openly about their fears and concerns, and they made a conscious effort to prioritize their family above all else. One day, as they were walking through the park, Lily asked her father a question that had been weighing on her mind for years. "Dad," she said, "why do you love time travel so much? What is it about exploring time that is so important to you?" James thought for a moment before answering. "For me," he said, "time travel represents the ultimate challenge. It's a mystery that has fascinated me for as long as I can remember. But more than that, it's the possibility of discovering something truly extraordinary. Something that could change the world as we know it." Lily nodded, but she still didn't quite understand. "But what's more important?" she asked. "Discovering something new, or being with the people you love?" James stopped walking and turned to face his daughter. "That's an easy answer," he said, his eyes shining with love. "Being with the people I love is always the most important thing, and I wouldn't trade that for all the discoveries in the world." Lily smiled, feeling a sense of warmth and comfort that she hadn't felt in a long time. She realized that even though her father was still passionate about his work, he loved his family more than anything. As they continued their walk, Lily couldn't help but feel grateful for the love that she and her father shared. She realized that no matter what challenges they might face in the future, they would always have each other. And she knew that in the end it was the power of love that would see them through. And thank you.